What's up, YouTube? Tom here at Cardboard Coliseum. We're here with Paulie today. He took third place at ARG Springfield, and he's going to show us his Blue Eyes deck.
All right, so Blue Eyes? Real?
Pretty standard.
Completely. I generally like to play very streamlined, standardized, consistent deck builds rather than crazy tech or anything. 3 Sage, 3 Stone, 1 Legend, 2 Max C, and 1 Gamma Seal. So the only tech is the Gamma Seal. And first of all, the 2 Max C, a lot of players not all players seem to be maining Max C this weekend, especially in other decks. I actually main in another deck, almost any deck as well, but definitely in Blue Eyes you want to main 2 of these. I opened this card a lot. I went second almost every game this weekend. I opened this card a lot. This was one of my favorite cards to open. It helped me a lot in the Blue Eyes match. A lot of times you'd either get a +1 off this or just make your opponent pass. For all the Blue Eyes players out there, I actually if you get Max Seed, I actually like to just pass without plays if you have enough life to survive, because I find it's actually better than giving them the plus. But it's optional. I didn't know what it. Can't say that 100% for sure. So 1 Gamma Seal, it's a good going second card. I'll get to that a little later why I played exactly 1. That's for the monsters.
So no Galaxy Soldier build?
No Galaxy Soldier. You know, it's funny, just based on results, completely results based, the builds playing Soldier seem to statistically be doing better than the builds that aren't. I think the guy who got second at the UDS, Kamal Crooks, I think was his name, was maining 3. I think the guy that went undefeated here in day 1, who went 8-0 in Swiss, he was playing 3 Galaxy Soldier. So that seems to be something that's definitely something to consider. I did not play it. In theory, I don't like it. I plan on testing it. So for spells, 3 trade-in, 3 desires. Draw power is great. This card's great. Going second, getting to 7 cards, you can just do so much. I broke through, boards of Totem Bird, Kieran triple counter, a couple times this weekend. I tooled both the metal foes I played up until I played Chase in top 4. The draw power is just great. 3 Melody, standard, staple, 3 return. This card's really good. This is a great top deck mid-game. A tempo card kind of, just a good solid play. 1 of this. Again, just a play. I really like Shrine. I played 2. 3s, I might play 3, honestly, if you could play more than 1 per turn. Because it's limited to once per turn, you just play 2. I really like this card. Against Pendulums, it's an automatic Dragon Spirit. Dragon Spirit is insane against all Pendulum decks, basically. That was my favorite card of the weekend, Dragon Spirit. I played 4 Pendulums day 1, and I think I tooled all 4 of them. This gets you automatic this end phase, plus dumping stones, almost a +1, because on the following turn you'll be getting back the dragon. So and just dumping, being able to dump Legend to add for trade-in, or just dumping a dragon if you need a target for return. It's a really good consistency card. I definitely recommend playing 2 of these. A lot of people are cutting it right now. I definitely think it should stay at 2. 2 Twister. This is literally one of the best cards against almost all the decks except for the Mirror. If it weren't so bad in the Mirror, since a lot of Blue Eyes players just play Emptiness, then I would play 3 in the main for sure. But because in the Mirror is very popular. I think Blue Eyes is the best deck, and many Blue Eyes players only play 1 back row, Emptiness. You can't really main 3, so 2 in the main. Charge, this is the best card in the deck. I drew this, there were a couple rounds where, I drew this 1 out of the 3 games, 3 rounds in a row. It was great, just all 3 of those games I won. Yeah. Upstart, I was at 39, that makes it 40. Not quite actually, but kind of.
It's Upstart.
Yeah, I like putting Upstart in every deck. And then Regeki and Chalice. So going back to Gamma Seal, these are kind of your tech for going second cards. That make going second a little bit better, because that's what you're trying to do with this deck, at least with this build. My good friend Vinny, he actually played 2 Gamma Seal, 2 Chalice in the main. No Regeki, and 1 Shrine was the other difference in our builds. And the theory behind Chalice is it's basically an out to Jowgen, Vanity's Fiend, and it's also playable in the Mirror. You can, when they tag into Azure Eyes, you can chain it to Azure Eyes, and then it's destructible that turn. You can set it, use it as a Veiler. Against Metal Foes, you can also use it against Crystal Wing, and against VA, it's not terrible because you can negate a Beatrice dump. So, Gamma Seal is also it's a great card for Beatrice. You put it over Beatrice, and that's their 1 Beatrice that's gone. It's not an out to Draugen or Vanity's Fiend, so that's the downside to it. And in the mirror, it's very good. Raigeki is good against, obviously out to everything. It's not so good against Beatrice. So the reason I did 1-1-1, so Gamma Seal, basically, my premise was, is good against BA, but not as good against Metalfoe, because it's an out to Beatrice, but not Jaugen. Raigeki is a great out to Jaugen, it's great against Metalfoe, but it's not so good against Beatrice. So I did one of the card I wanted for Metalfoe, one of the card I wanted for BA, and then one Chalice, which was fairly good against both matchups. So that's how the 1-1-1 came out.
And then you could always side out whichever one was
exactly
the bad matchup.
And for games 2 and 3, they become, sometimes you keep, like depending on the matchup, you might keep all of them in, because like games 2 and 3, you have to worry about even more floodgates. That's the biggest weakness to the deck. This deck breaks boards like amazingly, but it's very weak to floodgates. Fragrance, Vanity's Fiend, Jaugen, Emptiness are the main ones, Darkwood as well. One Emptiness. This is the other best card in the deck, along with Charge. This and Charge are kind of like cards that say you win the game. Every deck, now that Monarchs are no longer in the format, every deck should be playing this except for Spellbooks. Monarchs were the reason this card was not necessarily viable for a while, because it did not do much against them, and they were one of the best decks, but now that they're going, every deck should be playing this, except Spellbooks. I'm going to go to the side. Third Twin Twister, like I said, great card against everything except the mirror, just comes in every time. Free Typhoon, more spell trap removal for the floodgates, anti-spell fragrance, namely. Also, Fogblade against BA, and against Pendulums, you side this in. Against Metal Foes, obviously you stop their scales, but I'll usually wait till they put a third scale down, because if you use it on one of their first two, they likely have another one. So a lot of times, like if let's say they have 2 1s and an 8, they'll put the 2 1s down first to pop one, and then be able to put the correct one down. So you'll wait till they do that, and then you'll pop one of them. So I usually wait till the third scale to Typhoon. And if you can stop them from Pendulum Summoning, it's great against that. It's also theoretically, it's a way to counter side against Jaugen, because they can't physically get the Jaugen on the board if you break the scale. So it's not actually, it's like a counter side card and a side card against Metal Foe. Catset, this card didn't come up for me much this weekend until it won me my 3rd, 4th playoff match. It's like, it didn't come up that much, but I just think it is good to have in the deck. Like, you side this in for games 2 and 3, it's out to floodgates. You discard it for Melody or Twin Twister, and it just out to floodgates. Sideblocker, I wish I had played 2 of these. This was probably my best out to any floodgate this weekend, because it literally outs any floodgate. The reason I didn't want to do more than one was I felt like it's not going to be that good, because it can be like Fogbladed. So against BA, probably like that has the most floodgates against you games 2 and 3. Like, they're just going to Fogblade it, which is searchable in their deck. But like, this card won me several games against BA this weekend, and they did not Fogblade it. So, yeah, I would definitely play 2 of these. It was really good. Like, this was the card I was digging for in like many of my games to try to win the game. 2 more Kaijus. They're just very good. Against Herald, like, they're one of the best outs to Herald. Herald's deck. I almost sided Drone Lockbird as a card for Herald, and it's actually, since you're playing a Go Second deck, my biggest fear this weekend was just losing to Herald or Dark Synchro, because you're physically going second. So something to consider if you're playing a going second build of Blue Eyes is Drone Lockbird, because it does deal with the 2 decks that are the decks that can simply beat you if you just by going first are Dark Synchro and Herald. Drone Lock's very good against both of those. I decided not to go with Drone Lock. I just hope I don't play Dark Synchro. Went with these. They're better in more matchups. Inside them against Fire King Cosmo, regular Cosmo. The mirror, they come in the mirror every time. It's just one of your standard cards for the mirror. And depending on how I was feeling for the Metal Foes or BA, again, like you can see, like all the kind of tech and side cards I have for those different floodgates are all kind of interconnected, and exactly which ones I'll side in when is kind of iffy. But yeah, they're just good. 2 Cycle Reader, just for the mirror. That's it.
Good card.
Yeah. 1 Veiler. I actually like this for going first. I don't put it in for going second. I actually put it in for going first, because if you summon Sage and you have no way to utilize Stone that turn, this is just a free extra disruption that doesn't require like having one of your 5 opening cards be that disruption. So you're only playing with a 4-card hand with the disruption. You can now play with a 5-card hand and search a free disruption. So it's good. It's just good for that. Going second, like Sage is much more likely to get negated, or like I actually don't like as much going second. So yeah, that's why it's mainly because it's searchable. And then this was a mistake, not a mistake, but like the part of my side I actually did not utilize at all this weekend. I decided before the event against Metal Foes I was actually going to call first in our sided games and against BA, because there were so many floodgates, I felt it was almost more effective to side these against BA and just call first and hope this holds, or you can just get a board established before they can floodgate you. And same concept for these against Metal Foe. In practice, in the tournament, I never actually felt comfortable calling first. So these never really came in. I never called first in any of my matches except for one. I'll get to that in a second. So these never came in. Again, this is a go second deck. I would not do this again. I never ended up doing that, shifting into the going first. I never did that, so these would not be there. These would definitely be a second side blocker, and I'm not sure what the other three cards would be. But that's it for the side. Interestingly, I did call second for game one match this weekend. It was my top 4 match, which I lost. So going second did very well for me. Going first, just at least based on results, did not. I mean, he had Jaugen either way, so whether I went first or second, it probably wouldn't have made a difference. But yeah, going second, just even through floodgates and just good boards, like I said, Totem Bird, Kieran counters, like this deck was very capable of breaking boards. Dragon Spirit was just an amazing card against pendulums, and yeah. For the extra deck, I play 3 Spirit. In prior tournaments, locals, regionals, this has come up in the mirror. I do like playing 3. There are times when you will go into the 3rd one. It didn't come up this weekend, so that kind of gives an example of just an idea of how much it comes up. It didn't come up at all throughout the weekend, but it does come up sometimes. It's an option. 2 is Your Eyes. This came up in at least one of my mirrors. It might have come up twice. Someone actually remarked as they were watching my match, "Oh wow, he plays 2 Azure," and like it kind of won me that game. I definitely, for the mirror, definitely 2 of these. It comes up. Moonlight, it's a great card. It comes up a lot. Michael, good for when you're soul charging, scaling down, or tagging down into this, banishing a card, then charging, making Crystal Wing. It's great. Spark for emptiness. I emptied Spark Block once this weekend. Crystal Wing. The Galaxy Eyes guys. I was playing the 4th one for a while in case if they bounce your first one, or if they pop your first one upon the summon, that way later on in the game you can still go into the other one and still make these. That never ever happened in testing or in any tournaments, so I just cut the 4th one. You can just play 3 of these. It's definitely safe. All 3 of these are really good. Yeah, I'm sure people are familiar with them. Harbinger, great for sealing good boards. It's a great disruption card. If you can charge Crystal Wing Spirit and make this, it's great. Dragon one. So this was because I cut that 4th Galaxy Eyes, which never ever came up. I had an extra space. I wanted to play Giant Grinder. I could not find Giant Grinder, so this was my next best option, I thought, because people were telling me to play this. This never came up. I would definitely cut this. I'm not going to play this after this. Jesse Samek, who I played in Swiss, he actually went, I think he got 2nd in Swiss, I got 3rd in Swiss. He made this several times this weekend. I saw him, he said he does like it. I did not find any use for it, so I don't know, but it is an option. And then as my last card, I've been extra decking this since I started playing the deck. This card is extremely good. This card won me 2 or 3 matches this weekend. So for those who aren't familiar with the effect, because some people aren't, if it has material under it, it can attack directly. If it inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can destroy any card they control. One face-up monster, I'm sorry. And during either player's turn, the first effect that is activated, it attaches to negate. It's an infinity, but it's a mandatory infinity. It has to negate the first thing that's activated, but it's Nightmare Shark and it's infinity, and it pops a card. In the mirror, this is great. If you're going into an 8 and they have Spirit Dragon out, normally the issue is if you make Dark Matter, they can Moonlight it. And if you don't make Dark Matter, they can go into Azure Eyes for next turn. This just outs Spirit really good. You attack directly. Once this is on the board, they can't tag out because you'll negate it. And when you do damage, you pop it. So you out the Spirit just automatically. Really good card. Definitely play it in Blue Eyes. So that's my deck. That was probably really long, but yeah.
That's totally okay. And once again, I'm Tom with Cardboard Coliseum. I'd like to thank Paulie on his 3rd place finish. Congratulations.